I started recording. Okay. So there is going to be 3 types of system of equations. How I'm presenting it to you, I'm going to call the left side level 1 and the right side level 2. The first one is going to be easier, the second one will be harder. But they both use the same method in general.
Can you teach us how to plug this in?
And when I get to the graphing, yes.
Oh my god, there's graphing? No,
yes,
it's
but it's in the calculator.
Or the SoE.
It's in the calculator.
All right, so SoE system equation. So this is system equation substitution. So let's talk about the first one. 3x plus 2y equals 10, and x equals y minus 1. In this situation, because x is equal to y minus 1, I can take the x and plug it into the top one just as is. So 3 is y minus 1. So the x becomes whatever's written here. If it was 2y plus 3, it would be 2y plus 3. It's the whole equation. Plus 2y equals 10. Kira, go ahead.
Because it's also by itself, you can just easily fill it in.
Yeah, so that's why I call this one level 1. You don't even have to do anything.
That's a negative y?
Y minus 1 plus 2y. Oh, I see.
So it becomes a 3y.
So you distribute. Good.
Minus 1.
So 3y minus 3
My bad.
plus 2y equals 10. Combine like terms because they're on the same side. They combine normally.
5y minus 3.
5y minus 3 equals 10.
Plus 3 on both sides.
Okay.
Where'd you get this thing from?
I made it up and I made a mistake, but whatever. 5y equals 13. So.
And then you get a long decimal.
Yes, on your test it'll be all clean numbers. I'll make sure to that. This is 2.6 if you want it as a decimal. You could leave it as 13.5. Well, you don't have to worry about that. On your test it'll be whole numbers.
So this, what if I get lazy on the test and just give you that format, like a 13 over 5?
It's not gonna come
Where'd you get 13 from?
Yes, that's what it says, yeah.
10 plus 3.
Anyway, you take this 2.6, which equals y, and plug it in here. So x equals 2.6 minus 1, and that's going to equal 1.6.
You didn't think it's that
What did you just do?
I took the y that I found.
Oh, you just chose the bottom one. You could choose between the top or the bottom?
Yes. But I chose the bottom one because it's
choose. How do you get what?
Minus 1.
Oh, so then you have to go and then plug
I choose one of the 2 equations.
The 2 equations. To solve.
So your final answer, how I like you to write it, is 1.6 comma 2.6.
Wait, I don't get that. Why do you do minus 1?
Minus 1? Because this is y minus 1. And I found y equals 2.6. So 2.6 minus 1. I did this correctly too.
No.
Okay, on the right side is the level 2 version, which is just like you have to do a step before you can actually do the normal thing. Here, I want to get one of my variables by itself. You could technically get the y on top by itself, but because there's a negative in front, that's going to take more steps. So in that case, I'm going to take the x by itself. How can I get the x by itself?
Move the x over.
I'm going to move not the x over.
No, the 2y. 2y.
Good, I agree. Minus the 2y.
Oh, I thought you wanted x alone.
I do want x alone, which means I'm
y
moving.
alone.
Why can't you take the top one?
You could do the top one. It's just a negative y, so you have to do another step by dividing by negative 1. That's totally fine, and you could do that, and you still will get the right answer. But
So what would you plug into the y? 2y.
Why for that one you do minus 2y, not 4 and then
No, you just move over the negative y.
So I'm moving the bottom one because x is completely by itself.
Wait, quick question.
Y is almost by itself. It has a negative in front. Now, if you choose to move this top one to make y by itself, you could totally do that. Don't forget to divide by negative 1.
What? Does it matter where the 2y goes? Could it go after the 11 or has to?
Yeah, it could go. I always put it in like variable order, so variables go first.
You
But
did
if you do 11 minus 2y, that's perfectly fine.
It did plus 11, not equals 11.
Yeah, I know.
Why?
Because the negative 2y moves next to 11, and 11 is positive, so you put a plus sign next to
If
it.
you chose the first problem, what would you plug into y?
If you would solve for whatever y is, and then you would plug it in. So like you could do the math on that one on your own. I'm just going to do it this way. So we have this. Now we have x by itself. What's useful about that is because x is by itself, I could take the x here and plug it into the x up here. So 4 times negative 2y plus 11. Again, if you do 11 minus 2y, you'll still get the same results.
So it becomes 8y plus 44 minus y equals 7.
Which you distribute the 4, which will be negative 8y plus 44 minus y equals 17.
Then you can combine.
You seem so
Combine my
tired.
turn.
You must have
Negative
fun with
9y plus 44 equals 17.
Wait, why can I
Minus
just do
44
40?
minus 44.
Why can I just do
Yes.
44 minus
Negative
minus
9y equals negative
this.
27.
No, go up. Wait, go up, go up, go up.
My bad. Then minus 44 on both sides.
So it's going to be negative 9y equals negative 27.
Okay,
Then
good.
divide
At
by
least it's a
negative
clean
9.
number.
Divide by negative 9, y equals 3.
Good. I have this. Now I'm going to divide negative 9 on both sides, which means it's going to be y equals positive 3.
Wait, how did you get equals
Divided by
seven?
9.
Negative
You
divided by
messed up.
negative is a positive.
How did it turn into plus 11? Oh, where did you get 17 equals 17 from?
Okay, look at the original question and then I hope you find it, okay?
Wait, don't go.
I'll
So
zoom
we
it
seem
out.
a little bit tired today.
I'm a little bit tired.
I can't read your handwriting, dude.
That's not the problem, okay? I'm going to tell you right now.
I can't read your handwriting. Is that a 9?
How come
Yes.
you switched it around to negative 2y?
What's
plus
this?
11?
That's a 44 minus 1.
Oh, okay. Wait, minus y? Okay.
Minus 1, yeah. It's the same minus y that's up here. It's Kira, you had a question?
Handwriting is showing it. And your voice is showing it.
Oh, I just
And my
chose-
attitude showing it.
Oh, I just chose the top
You
one.
still go with us.
Oh, that makes a lot more sense. I chose the top one.
Okay.
Oh, now I have to rewrite it all.
That's fine. Y equals 3, so I'm going to take this 3 and plug it into the easier one. Probably the bottom one because it's easier. I'll do a different color to simplify that. So then that's going to be x plus 2 times 3 because the y becomes a 3 equals 11. X plus 6 equals 11. X equals 5. So my final answer here, x is 5, so we write 5 first, comma 3.
Oh, you didn't use the original equation before you changed it?
Yes. If you use this one, it might be even easier. Because if you use this, x is already by itself. You don't even have to subtract it from the side. You just do negative 6 plus 11. But it turns out,
Basically the same thing.
well, that's the whole concept of algebra. You move a variable or you move an number, it's the same thing. Any questions before I move on to
No, I think
uses
that's
substitution?
all. That's what's on the test, right?
That's first part. Part 1.
No, don't lie.
I'm not lying.
Yeah, I think.
All right, they'll be disappointed. Anyone have any questions? No,
Did
me
you
good.
make the test already?
Yes,
Wait, it's on Wednesday or Thursday?
Thursday. All right, elimination.
Is this the second part?
No, it's Tuesday.
Out of 3 parts, this is the second part.
Okay.
Okay. On the left side, I will call it level 1. On the right side, I'll call it level 2. Okay.
Ow.
For the level 1 question,
By the way, that definitely did not hurt.
It just scared me.
so for this one, what we're going to do is because if we look at this, wait a second, x's are lined up, y's are lined up,
Cancel the two
numbers
lines.
are lined up. What I could do is subtract an expression or an equation with
Cancel
another equation. So
Cancel the
because
difference.
2 y's are exactly the same, I could just subtract down. So I'm going to subtract. I put the subtraction sign here, but it doesn't really matter. But I'm going to put subtract down. The reason I'm subtracting is because I need 2y minus 2y to become 0. So I choose the sign in order to make it 0. Now, you might have learned it in the past to multiply by -1 then add. You could also do it like that too. So now I just subtract downwards. 5x minus 3x is 2x. 9 minus 7
Thursday.
is 2. The y's are 0, which is our goal. Sorry.
X equals 1.
So, if you don't get y equals 0 or a variable to equal 0, you made a mistake. So 2 minus 2 should be 0. Divided by 2 on both sides, x equals 1. Hey, x equals 1. What can we do with that 1? Good, we're going to plug it back into one of the two equations. Somebody choose.
Top.
All right, top.
You could choose whatever one to plug into.
Yes. So then, I'm going to plug it in the top. 5 times 1 plus 2y equals 9. 5 plus 2y equals 9. Subtract 5 on both sides. 2y equals 4. Divided by 2 on both sides. Y equals 2. Which leaves you to be your final answer.
1 comma.
Excellent. 1 comma 2.
And do you always subtract them or only?
It depends on the situation. Let's say this situation will call
Wait,
it.
did you subtract minus 9 on both sides?
You have to add because there's a negative and
Minus
a
2 on both
positive.
sides.
What?
What did you subtract on both sides?
The
5.
5 minus 5 minus 5.
I
No,
thought
wait,
I heard
it's-
you say 9.
Yeah.
On the other one, since there's a negative and since there's a negative and
He hates me.
Say again?
since there's a negative, you add.
Yeah. So you asked the question, do I always subtract? If one is negative and one is positive, I want to add those because one negative, one positive will make it 0. Okay? All right. This one, level 2, we'll call it. This one over here, it's not ready to be eliminated yet. We need numbers to match. So what we could do with any of the expressions is multiply everything by a number to make it match. So what could I multiply with this y to make it match to this y?
Yeah.
2. So I'm going to multiply the bottom with a 2. So I'm going to rewrite this. 2 goes to everything, including, does also go to 15. Very important that you do that.
30.
6x plus 2y equals 30. Actually, and let me just rewrite the top one just so it's a little bit
And how
more.
do you know to multiply again?
Your goal is to make them match so they eliminate. Or over here, they already matched, right? 2y and 2y.
Yeah.
This one did not match yet, so you make it match. What's up? In this case, yeah, I heard you. In this case, we're going to add downwards. Perfect, because one's negative, one positive. We want to go to 0. So negative 2 plus 2 is 0. So we're going to add,
So just 10x equals 40.
X equals 4.
so we're going to do 4x plus 6x equals 10x. Negative 2y plus 2y will be 0, which is good, that's our goal. And 10 plus 30 is
40. And then
40.
you divide 10 on both sides, and you get X equals 4.
Excellent. We're going to divide 10 on both sides, and x equals 4.
Yeah, I did the wrong one.
Okay. The best part is there's no wrong choice in this situation. Choose which one.
Yeah,
I heard the
one
bottom
is
one.
easier because there's no.
4 comma 3.
Let me rephrase that. There's no
Oh, wait,
wrong
which one are
choice,
you
but there
doing?
are better choices.
Oh, I did the top one. Okay.
So 3 times 4. Oh wait, is it y? No, it's x. Plus y equals 15. 12 plus y equals 15. Minus 12 on both sides. Y equals 3. So our final answer here, 4 comma 3. For the next part, the graphing, I'm going to show you how to do it in the calculator. You could technically use slope-intercept form to graph it, but why do that? You have a calculator. Use it to your advantage, okay?
Yo, this one, I just need a Trojan. I forgot that the Trojan.
Remember, try to bring the calculator to
Oh my god.
the
Never
test
got
operation.
Never.
Alright. Any questions on this? Are we still going? Naomi, are you drawing? Okay, cool.
But I did the work.
Sure. Alright.
Sure you did.
So, graphing in this one. It's written like this. You could technically have done a substitute for this one, but I'm telling you, do graphing.
They were like $10.
I should say on the test,
And they all stopped.
it's going to be kind of like this format. I'm going to give you 2 questions, force you to substitute. 2 questions, you got to eliminate. 2 questions, you got to graph. And then on the last section, it'll be 2 questions where you get to choose. And we'll talk about a little, whichever method you want. Do you want to graph it? Do you want to substitute it? Do you want to...
Wait, so we don't have to graph if we don't want to?
No, there is a graphing curve, but then at the end there's like options if you wanna. There's
There's
an option
gonna
of
be 2
one
extra
more,
questions where you could do whichever one you
You
want.
could do one of
whichever method
Yeah,
you
yeah.
want.
So like I understand.
So like if this one was in the free-for-all, honestly, I probably would do substitution. I would just set it equal to each other. And then substitute, but
Well, graphing you have to put in your calculator.
graphing you do need a
Which
public
is, just
calculator.
takes longer.
Yeah, it depends on the situation. But you know, if you do it correctly, it's guaranteed. All right, so let's do level 1. So level 1, how we start our calculator, and of course this is a video, so go back if you need to check it out again.
So the only sections on the test are substitution. I actually thought
Elimination
it was
and
graphing.
graphing, yeah. So in this one, y is already by itself. In order for the calculator to understand what you're telling it, you need to make sure y is by itself. Otherwise, it won't work. So after you did that, you're gonna press y equals. In y equals, if you already have equations that clear it, I'm gonna put the 2 equations here. 2, the x button is the number or the button next to alpha. So it's x, t, theta, and that's just generally like variable. So 2x minus 1, that's my first equation. And then the other one is going to be 3x plus 1. Well, I'm going to press graph just to look at it. And you can see these lines crisscross. If your thing does not crisscross, if you ever have a problem with your zoom, I will always say click zoom, and option 6 is standard. So it'll just make it a 10 by 10, which means it usually will be normal.
And then doing
Second trace.
like
So
Second trace. Is that how you say it? Trace?
Yeah, yeah.
Trace.
So now we're going to use the calculator, though, which is cool. We got the graph, but that doesn't tell me the answer. But we can force the calculator to
when
tell
you
us the
look
answer.
which numbers line up.
Well, we don't even have to look at it because we could tell the calculator, tell me which numbers line up
Yeah.
instead of just searching it.
Yeah, I know. It's
Okay.
on the graph. But it's
So we're going to click second trace.
it's on the
And
bedrock.
then
I'm gonna
enter,
do second.
enter.
You have to click second, or you're just going to get trace, which is not going to help you. Now, you want the part where the lines, oops.
Intersect.
Yes, they overlap, which is intersect. So in this option, this is option number 5, okay? Should be for every calculator's option number 5. If not, just make sure you read it carefully. I'm gonna click 5, right? Now, it asks you first curve. Now, you only have 2 lines or curves. So really much, you're just gonna press enter for the first curve. You're gonna press enter for the second curve. Now it asks you for a guess. The guess only matters if it was like a curve that would hit more than once, and it's trying to ask you, do you want the one on the right or the one on the left? For straight lines, they could only crisscross at exactly one place, if they crisscross at all. So because of that, you don't have to actually guess or anything like that. So you just
press enter 3 times.
You do. That was the 3rd time. And then if you read underneath here, it's a little small. It's -2, -5, which means I could just walk over here on your paper. I will have like a
You just write -2, -5. And that's it.
yeah.
We
On
have
the
we have to graph it.
you have to graph the
Actually,
general
lines.
shape, so I want to see where it looks like. So I will not grade on like, well, actually it was supposed to be this slanty, not that slanty, but like it doesn't
Could we
matter.
just
I have
copy
to
the
put where it-
calculator?
That's
I'm
what I want you to
graphing.
do.
When I'm graphing, I have to put like exactly where it intersects.
I would like you to, if you were graphing,
Because I might
you know it's at -2, -5. So whatever you graph, even if your lines are horrible, even if they're crooked, even if they're curvy, all I want to be seeing is that the 2 lines you draw at least crisscross. Like that sucks. I'm gonna be mad, but then I'll probably forgive you afterwards. But either way, here the crisscross at -2, comma -5.
So how do you want to
Where's the -5 though?
Just draw 2 lines that crisscross at the right place. In this case,
Do we have
-2.
do we have to like put it up by -2 and by -5 and then do the line? Or what? Because you only did -2.
What are you talking about? This is -2, comma -5. This is a
Yeah,
coordinate.
where'd you mark -5?
It's a coordinate point, remember. It's -2, so 2 to the left.
Oh, I didn't
5
see
down.
the 5 lines down. I just saw the
Mm.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Next one. So that's the level 1, when it's like set up perfectly for you. The level 2 is not set up perfectly for you. If you notice all the level 2s is like we have to do a little bit to make it work. In this one, I need it to be y equals. If it's not y equals, it cannot be done. So for the first equation here, I'm going to -2x on both sides, which makes this become y equals -2x plus 10. If you write 10 minus 2x, that's perfectly fine. The calculator will understand that. Again, I just kind of write it slope into that one. Easy, right? All you had to do is move one thing, y is by itself. In this case, we have this one. So I'm going to subtract 3x on both sides. So it's going to become -2y equals -3x plus 10. So
Why can't I do 10 minus 3?
you could be 10 minus 3y,
Oh, okay.
3x, it doesn't matter. Now, the y is not completely by itself, so I have to do one last step, which is divide -2 on both sides. Now, when you divide -2, or if you multiply something to the other side, you technically have to distribute it. So everything, if you put it on one line, I'll show you how to do it in the calculator. This is going to become 3 over 2x minus 5. If you put it all under one line, which you could do that, make sure in the calculator you type it like this.
How do you just write?
-3 plus 10, all of that in parentheses, divided by -2. If you want to do it as -2 divided by everything, you can do that in the calculator. I don't like doing that just because I feel like there's more chances for error there.
What just happened?
So
How did I get y equals -5 minus 3x? Because I did 10 minus 3x and divide the whole thing by -2.
10 divided by 3. The
No,
3 should
10
not.
divided by -2. So
Yeah, that's
instead, you know
-5.
how you flipped it, you did -3x plus 10? So I did -2y equals 10 minus 3x, and then divide by -2, that cancel out the -2, then divide by -2 on the other side, and then you see 10 divided by -2, that's y equals -5 minus 3x.
No, the -2 has to also go to the 3x. It has to go to everything.
That's a fraction though. Is
That's
that fine
fine.
if we do the fraction?
That's fine if you do a fraction. I'll show you how to do the fraction in the calculator. Purposely, I made this one a fraction,
Okay.
just so you can handle it. Okay. Let's pull out the calculator.
Y equals what? What? I'm really confused right now.
Wow,
We
I don't
only
want
got
that.
one Y equals? No,
No,
we have
there's
two
two
Y
of them.
equals.
Yeah.
And they plug
Oh, this green one, I'm just rewriting it like Ortella suggested, which is all over -2. You could technically write it like that. You have to put it in
If I write it
parentheses.
as a fraction, will I get it right?
Yes, either way you write
If I
it.
write it as a fraction.
I'm going to do it as a fraction. Okay. All right. I'm going to
I
click.
don't want to freak out when
I hear you. I'm going to click y equals again and make sure it's clear. Okay. If you have an error, just show it to me on the test. So the first equation, y equals -2x plus 10. Please remember the negative button is the one next to the enter symbol. That's minus. It'll be different. It'll say error if you don't do it correctly. So -2, my bad. X plus 10. The next one, I have 3 over 2. Now, there's multiple ways to do it. You could change 3 over 2 a fraction, which is 1.5, and then times it by x. If you want to keep it a fraction, I suggest keep it in parentheses.
Your wallet?
Yeah, it's
3
I used
divided
to
by
do it.
2
like Roblox.
x.
My dad bugged out at me.
Is it fine if I just
She's been at
have
school,
negative
and
5?
none of these
I
things
leave
are-
it in
Negative
my
1.
backpack.
Well, okay, go ahead.
Just, like,
Negative 5.
Wait, I just have
What?
negative 5 minus
My wallet.
negative 3x over
Because I used to leave it
negative
in my car, but I'm like, you know, it's better.
I forgot the
If you
other
put
day-
negative 3x in
It's my number
parentheses,
one
it
thing.
should work.
My number one thing was
No, I'm
worried
saying,
about, like,
wait,
losing
negative
it.
5, and then in
It's always in my
parentheses,
bag.
negative 3
It's not in
over
my
negative
backpack,
2.
it's in my purse.
Just make sure you put a plus symbol in between if you're putting a minus or something like that. Or is it a plus? Like, make
No,
sure the
it's
symbol
today's
is
when I look down. I'm
minus
minus
5.
So you would say it's negative 5 plus
Like, I don't
negative
freak
3 over
out. I
negative
have a picture of it on
2x.
my phone. Oh. It's like always a
Say that one more time.
It's good to have it.
Negative 5
Mm-hmm.
minus
Oh,
or plus,
Bro, what is this?
I don't know which one it is,
Wait, go back.
negative 3 over
Go back.
negative 2x. Because
Oh.
I put it in a different way than you did.
How do you put an X?
So in
What
the
do you put
calculator,
for X in?
it will look like negative 5. Is it minus?
Yeah.
So this is double negative, so let's make these positive. And then, wait a second. This is minus negative. Okay, this negative never exists.
No, that's actually wrong.
Oh, okay, perfect. So then we'll just do x plus 3x over 2.
Okay.
All right. So we graph this. Again, fractions, always put it in parentheses to make it minimum problems. Graph looks like they crisscross. So we're going to second trace option 5. Because there's only 2 lines, I just slap enter, enter, enter. Intersections are random decimals. It's technically a fraction, but again, I made these up. If you get decimals like this, no, your test will be clean numbers. So I'll make sure it's
No
clean numbers.
decimals?
Yes.
You shouldn't be getting decimals.
You should not be getting decimals. If you do, I made a mistake in the questions. But that being said, the answer for this one, I know what it is as a fraction, so that's 4 2/7. So I'll write it like that. 4 2/7. Over, and what's the y? 1 4/7.
How do we turn that into?
You will not have to worry about that. I just know what it is
Oh.
as a mixed number, and I prefer writing that than the crazy decimals. But
Yeah, but I would probably.
again, you will have clean answers. So if you get decimal answers on your test, you know you made a mistake. Okay.
I'll double check with you.
Do the answer sheet before the test this time. To make sure.
Sometimes you do one.
So that covers everything on the test. Again, the test format is going to be 2 questions elimination, like you're forced to do elimination. 2 questions substitution, you're forced to do substitution. 2 questions graphing, you're forced to do graphing. And then the last 2 questions is your choice. So you could change it to y equals and make it a
Can we
graphing
do
question.
both, then whichever one is right?
If you write 2 answers, I take points off for every wrong answer.
Oh, there's one problem with
Every
No, I'm meaning like if we choose to do both, will you take the best?
no, if you do both, you should get the same answer.
Oh.
Okay?
Okay.
This is very important. All of these are the methods to say to solve the same exact questions. Okay?
So if you do like 2 ways and you get one way wrong and then the other one right.
Then you probably should do the third way to be the tiebreaker. I think. Because like you're in a situation. All right. All right. I hope this helps.
We have even more.